and officially go live. And let's get into it. So Milwaukee is an interesting team. Obviously, they just won the NBA championship. So hats off to them. Obviously, Giannis staying, the Drew Holiday trade, being able to kind of maximize, given the situations that were happening during the NBA playoffs with injuries, they were able to take advantage and win the whole thing. So, but let's kind of take a look at what Milwaukee has done, what they can do in the future, to be able to kind of move forward. Now, it's important to note they have the 3 players on their roster being paid the 3 best players being paid the most. Totally makes sense. However, Middleton, Giannis, and Holiday will be a part of this team for the next at least 2 years. Given, if there's a trade, I don't see that happening, though. I think this big 3 for Milwaukee is going to be how it's kind of shaped moving forward. So they have to figure out kind of how to retool. Do they bring Bryn Forbes back? How much do they bring him back for? He's obviously under contract for, it looks like, next season, but how do they extend him? How do they move into extension talks with Dante DiVincenzo, who missed the finals and a majority of the playoffs because of an injury? Pat Connaughton, he is going to have a player option at the end of this upcoming season. So is there any extension talks there? Brook Lopez, another year older, yet he is still making about what is that, $27 million over the next 2 seasons. So what happens with the Bucks there? Look, I don't see the Bucks making too drastic of moves. Look, they did what they needed to do. They won the championship. You can give all the hats off in the world to them. But, I think maybe adding some depth. Bobby Portis is also a player that could decline his player option and become an unrestricted free agent. He had a very good performance in the playoffs. So is he a guy that leaves? How do you kind of retool the bench? Because the interesting thing with Milwaukee, you win the championship, you have a superstar player, you have 2 relatively competent players alongside him, but you have some young pieces too, as well, but you don't have these guys that are like old vets. They have PJ Tucker. He may leave. He might come back. But how are they going to be able to attract some older pieces, some veterans that would take veteran minimum deals with other teams? So again, the Lakers, the Nets, there are going to be guys who want to go play on those 2 teams because they have very high odds of winning the championship next year. So does Milwaukee, but does anybody want to go to Milwaukee? That will be an interesting storyline for the Bucks as they look to repeat going into next year. Now, the Bucks made some moves last year. Again, obviously getting Drew Holiday. However, let's look at their draft pieces moving forward. So this year, they don't have their pick. The Bucks lost their second pick as a result of the NBA's ruling behind the whole situation with Bogdanovic. So that's a little weird. They don't have their 23rd pick. They will have a first. You can kind of see they lose picks every other year. That's fine. Obviously, you'd like to have them, but the Bucks, you do that when you want to win an NBA championship. So that's kind of how they're looking. So, look, celebrations all galore. This is actually probably going to be a short stream for the Bucks. Look, they won the championship. They did what they needed to do. The next 2 years could be relatively bad, and they still are looking strong because they have they took such a huge win with getting Giannis to come back. Then they go make the Holiday trade. Obviously the Holiday trade happens before, but this is how you try to build your team. Your 3 best players are your 3 highest, and then you try to build around them veterans, young players through the draft, through developing, and then maybe add pieces to kind of go along with that. And look, I understand the Pelicans the Bucks probably don't. They probably don't beat the Nets at full strength. Brooklyn at full strength. But I do think that there are, they deserve to win because, look, they were up 2-0 against the Raptors in the series where Kawhi goes and wins 4 straight, and then Kawhi goes and wins the championship with Toronto. The next year in the bubble, Giannis gets injured, and they go down to Miami, and they lose to the Heat. And then this year, there's the whole Giannis situation of does he stay? Is he going to leave? All these different things. But I'm grateful for Milwaukee to be able to win the championship. Obviously, they have this generational talent in Giannis, and so I feel like it's a good thing for Milwaukee to win, a good thing for the league. I know it wasn't super entertaining because you didn't have like a big name star in the finals like Steph or LeBron, but it still is a good thing for the Bucks. Don't really have too much more to say on the Bucks. Again, let's go and jump into some rumors if they've appeared in any. From what I know, I don't think they have. They don't have a draft pick. Obviously, there's a piece on what they could do. Let's see here. I did not know that PJ Tucker has his has bird rights, so they can go and continue to exceed the cap with re-signing PJ Tucker. So I guess officially Forbes did decline his contract. Won't pick up the player option his second year's contract, and he'll become an unrestricted free agent. Okay, so Forbes, do you try to bring him back? An interesting situation there. Let's see here. Jeff Green might be trickier to re-sign for the Nets, as he'll likely seek more than the veteran minimum. Woj and Lowe both identify the Bucks as a possible suitor for Jeff Green if he were to leave Brooklyn. Okay, there you go. Let's see here. Bobby Portis, Bryn Forbes have player options. I don't think we've officially heard anything from Bobby Portis. And that's pretty much it. Congratulations to the Bucks again. They won the NBA title. What a great thing for that city, for the organization. That's going to end our live stream on the Bucks. However, let's preview what we're doing here next. We have Denver coming up. And then after Denver, we will have the Los Angeles Clippers. And then after that, we'll have the Brooklyn Nets. We'll finish the night after that with Philadelphia, the Utah Jazz, and then last but not least, the Phoenix Suns. So stick with us. Watch our other videos. Again, subscribe to the channel if you liked what our content is. We're doing a lot more coverage of the NBA offseason along with the NBA draft. So follow us. We're going to do a lot more streams. And let's get ready for that next stream here, which will be